In this section, we're going to look at how we work with windows, folders and files on our PC. Now, each window that you open onto your desktop has several properties. You have a large bar across the top. Now you can click on this and drag it to move the window around your screen. Underneath that are some back and forward buttons that in this case are greyed out, which means that we can't currently click on them. We have what's called the Breadcrumb Bar, and we'll deal with that in a future segment. We have a refresh button, which we will press to refresh the contents of the current view just in case something has changed. There is a search box, so we can click in here and we can search at any time for any kind of file or document. There will be a toolbar, and the options here will change depending on what you're looking at, but there'll always be a help button on the right hand side. You'll have in the bottom right, if you click and hold in the bottom right hand corner, you can resize the window to any size you want. You can do this from any corner, but most commonly people will do it from the bottom right. Then in the very top right of a window you'll have three buttons: minimize, maximize and close. The minimize button will make a window disappear from your desktop and put it down onto the Windows 7 taskbar. The maximize button will expand the window so that it fills your entire screen, and you press the maximize button again to restore it to its original size. The close button will close the window. Now, as I've said before, we've looked in a previous section at ways of opening multiple windows. Here from the jump list we'll open 2 instances of Windows Explorer, and we've also talked about how on the Windows 7 taskbar in the far right hand corner you have the show desktop button, which you can press to automatically minimize all of the windows you have on the screen and to bring them back again afterwards. In the next segment we're going to look at a couple of very interesting ways of managing Windows called AeroSnap and AeroShake. In the last segment we looked at some of the ways that you can manage Windows by resizing them and closing them and minimizing them and so on. In this segment I want to look at a couple of really cool new features in Windows 7 that can make it really easy and intuitive to work with Windows. They're called AeroSnap and AeroShake. AeroSnap allows us to snap windows to various parts of our screen. Let's have a look at how it works. Now you'll see the mouse cursor here in the top center of this Internet Explorer window. If we move the cursor over the very top of the window, you'll see it changes to an up-down arrow. So we can click and drag this to the top of the screen, and when we release it, the window has expanded to fill the top bottom of the screen, even though its width hasn't changed. We can drag it away in the same way. We can also drag it and throw it at the top of the screen, and when we release the mouse button, that window automatically expands to fill the entire screen. When we drag it away, it will return to its original size. Now let's open a couple of Windows Explorer windows here. Now we might want to copy or move files between our computer and an external USB hard drive. We might want to compare 2 documents side by side or 2 web pages side by side, and this is really difficult to do, resizing windows to make sure that they fit half of the screen. If we click and drag this window here and throw it to the left hand side of the screen, you'll see an image will appear showing us that when we release the mouse button, this window will be automatically resized by Windows to fit precisely 50% of the screen on the left hand side. We can throw this window with the right hand side, and that will automatically be expanded as well. This is a really useful way of being able to have 2 windows side by side, which is something people very commonly need to do. When you drag it away from the edges of the windows, they'll return to their normal sizes again. Now here we've got a few windows open and the desktops are looking a bit messy, so there's another feature here in order to be able to clear the desktop so that we can just concentrate on one window. Let's say we want to concentrate on this Internet Explorer window. If we pick it up and we shake it with the mouse, we'll see that all of the other windows on the screen have been automatically minimised. We can shake this window again, and any windows that were previously minimised will be brought back onto the desktop. This is another very clever way of being able to work with Windows in Windows 7. In the next segment, we're going to look at the different types of files, folders and libraries that you have in Windows 7, and we'll examine what each one of these is. Now that we've had a look at some of the ways you can work with Windows on the Windows 7 desktop, let's have a look at files and folders. Now you'll probably have a great many files and documents yourself. You might have MP3 music tracks. You might have digital photographs. You might have videos. You might have lots of other documents, including word processing documents or spreadsheets. There's a whole range of different files that you can have. Now you'll see here that if we go into Music in Windows Explorer, we have a subfolder containing music. Same with pictures, the same with videos. Now, folders are used to organise files in a hierarchical structure. We can see here, if we click on our main disk for Windows, that Windows itself is organised into a folder structure. This helps keep everything organised. Let's open the main Windows operating system folder. And we can see here that Windows is a whole number of files organised into a great many folders. Some of these folders have their own subfolders, and it helps keep things organised. Now in Windows you'll have lots of different folders, including here we have our main users folders. Now the users folders, and there's one for each user that has an account on a computer, contains things like your documents, your music, your pictures and your video. You'll also see that there is a public users folder, and this is where you can store files that are shared between all the users on a computer. So that's in addition to your main users folder. So let's have a look at some specific types of files. Here we have MP3 files. We know they're music files because Windows will show us a little icon of a musical note. With pictures here, it will show us a thumbnail of what an actual photo is. Same with videos. What's more, with videos, we'll see that the thumbnail is made to look like a strip of movie film, and there'll be a little icon here to indicate that it will open with Windows Media Player and will play as a video. Other documents, such as Word documents and Excel documents and lots of other types of documents, will probably also carry an icon down in the bottom right hand corner which will show you what program they will open with. This helps you identify what type of file that they are. Now Windows 7 introduces a new feature to help you organise your files called libraries, and we'll have a look at that in the next segment. In the previous segment, I spoke about a new feature in Windows 7 called libraries, which are a fantastic and really clever and easy to use way of managing and organising your files and documents. There are several ways to access your libraries. You can either access them directly through the documents, pictures and music links in the Windows 7 Start menu, or from the Windows Explorer icon that's by default pinned to the Windows 7 taskbar. Now, Windows 7 comes with 4 default libraries: documents, music, pictures and videos, but you can add more, and I'll show you how to in a minute. Let's open one of the libraries and see some of the clever ways that we can work with it. Now by default, a library just shows you the files that you have and any subfolders that you have in that library. But let's say you want to look at all of your pictures. Now the way libraries work by default is that they can aggregate all of your appropriate files, in this case pictures, in very, very clever ways. You'll see here the pictures library includes 2 locations. Let's click on this. Now here we can see that by default the pictures library is aggregating storage from our pictures folder, our users pictures folder, and our public pictures folder. We can add folders to this, or we can remove folders from it should we want to. We can also view the information and view the files in really, really clever ways. In the top right here you'll see an arrange by button. It's set to arrange by folder, and as I've said, by default it'll show you folders and subfolders, and you can keep drilling down until you get to all of your files. But let's have a look at some of the other options. Here we can also view pictures by the month they were taken, the day they were taken, the rating we've given them in stars from no stars up to 5 stars, or by their tag. Now, many times when you import pictures, it'll ask you, do you want to add a tag to these photos? Now, because we've arranged these by tag, we can see that any tags, which is keywords associated with those pictures, are now showing them in groups. So if we want to have a look at the Arizona photos, for instance, then we can double click on that and all of the photos of Arizona will appear, regardless of where in that pictures library they're stored, and regardless of what folder or subfolder they're stored in. This is a very, very clever way of being able to organise your files in Windows 7. If we double click on wildflowers, now as long as there are photos of wildflowers in the pictures library, it doesn't matter what folder or subfolder they're stored in, you can view all of them together, and it makes it very, very easy and intuitive. Let's have a look at the music library, for instance. Here by default we're just looking at a folder containing sample music, but if we click the arrange by button we can view it by album, artist, song, genre, or again rating. If we want to view it by album, all the albums will appear regardless of what folder they're in. If we want to view it by artist, then we'll see little stackable icons showing us how many albums we have for each artist, and if we open one of these artists, then all of the albums that we have by that artist will appear. And it's a very, very clever way of organising your files and documents. So let's go back to the main library's view. Let's say we want to add a library. In the toolbar at the top of the Explorer window there's a new library button. Let's call this one Photos. When we open this library by double clicking on it, we'll be prompted to include a folder because it doesn't include any folders at the moment. So let's say we want to include just the photographs folder in under our main pictures folder, because our my pictures folder might include other things such as cartoons or things that we don't necessarily want to include because they're not photographs. So we'll select photographs by single clicking on it, and then we can press the include folder button. And now all of the files within that folder are included, and we can see the photos library includes one location, and we can check what that location is. It's in our pictures, our photographs folder. Again, we can view and arrange these files however we want. Let's say we want to arrange them by tag again, and we can see here that all the photos that we have in that folder and all the photos that would be in subfolders of that folder as well are all neatly arranged and easy for us to find. In the next segment we're going to look at how you can make Windows Explorer work for you. Windows Explorer is the program we use in Windows 7 in order to be able to organise, find and navigate through our files, folders and documents. You can access it from this icon on the Windows 7 taskbar, or you can access it directly from your quick links through to your documents, pictures and music folders and computer from the Windows 7 start menu. let's click on the icon on the taskbar. Now by default, when you click on this icon, you'll see the new libraries view. But let's have a look at some of the features within Windows Explorer. Now on the left hand side here, you've got the favourite links pane. We'll deal with favourites in a minute. We have links to our libraries, home group, drives on our computer including USB attached drives, and places on our network. Some of these will have an arrow next to them, and if you click on the arrow you can expand the folder structure there to see it in full. Now the favourite links pane is where you can drag and drop other things that you may want to access on a regular basis. Let's say for instance we want to be able to access this folder on a regular basis. We drag it up to the favourite links pane and it'll say it's going to create a link there. That now will always appear there, so if we want to get to this folder in a hurry, all we need to do is click on it and we're straight there. And you can drag whatever you want into the favourite links pane. Let's drag that one. Drag and drop. Simple way of getting straight to that folder. So that's easily customizable. Now across the top we have a menu bar. Now the options in this menu will change depending on what you're looking at. It's context sensitive. You may have an organise menu here. Now in here we can change the layout, but there's another option for that further up on the toolbar, so we'll have a look at that there. There are sharing options here. We can create a new folder here. Let's call it Files for Fun. And then we have some icons on the far right. There's a help icon and two more. Now this one is very interesting. Change your view. This means that we can change the way we view this folder. There's a slide bar here so that we can switch easily between the different options, or you can click on them to select the one you want. There's plenty of options there. Then we have options to show and hide the preview pane. So let's have a look at this. The preview pane will enable us to see a preview of a file or a document without actually having to open it, and there's a great many files are supported by this. If we click on this, we'll see a preview of this photograph. If we go into videos, we can see a preview of this video, which will also allow us to play this video. There are a great many things that you can do with the preview window, and here, as we saw in the organise menu, we can change and turn these things on and off. Here the preview pane is turned on. Let's turn it off. Now down the bottom of the Explorer window you'll find information about files, including boxes where you can click and you can change the name of a file or change its properties. There are other things you can do with this window. If you right click in it, you can change its size. If you change it to large, you'll see more information about the file when you click on it. You can change its rating. Here let's make it 5 stars and we'll save that. With pictures, you can see more information about pictures here. You can add comments and lots of other information. Again, if you right click on it, you can choose between the 3 different sizes for this panel to get more or less information about files. If you select multiple files by dragging, then you'll see information about all the items that you have selected. And here we have more options along the context sensitive options bar at the top, including preview, creating a slideshow, or burning these files to a CD or DVD. Now, in the next section, we're going to look at how we can find our way around our computer. Now you might remember in a previous segment I spoke about something called the Breadcrumb Bar, also known as the address bar. Now this appears at the top of Explorer windows, and it not only shows you where you are on your computer, but it helps you navigate to different parts very quickly indeed. Here's how it works. You can see here we're at computer, but you can also see some little black arrows next to each part. If we click on these arrows, then we can easily and quickly jump to any other place in that trail. Let's say we want to go back to computer. Now, if we navigate through Windows folders in the traditional way, let's say we want to go to our desktop themes, we can see in the Breadcrumb Bar we're at on our local C disk, in the Windows folder, in the Resources folder, and in the Themes folder. But if we click on the black arrow, we'll see all of the other locations in that trail that we can jump to straight away, and it makes it very, very easy to get to where we want to be. We've also got back and forward buttons here. If we click the back button, it will immediately take us straight back to where we were before, and it'll keep a record of where we've been so that we can easily and quickly jump backwards and forwards to where we want to be. Let's say we want to go to our users folder. Open our pictures folder here, open photographs, and we can see in the Breadcrumb Bar we can jump to any other point. We can jump straight to videos instead of pictures. Now, sometimes you may want the actual address on your computer and the actual folder structure of where you are. Now, this is easy to get, and it's what you would have seen in older versions of Windows, such as Windows XP. There will always be an icon at the far left of the Breadcrumb Bar. If you click on this icon, then the actual folder structure, including the drive letter you'll see here, the C drive, indicating what hard drive we're looking at, will appear. It'll also automatically be highlighted, so if you ever need it, say to copy it, you can right click on it and select copy. In the next segment, we're going to look at how we can connect to various hard drives attached to our computer, and how we can look around the computer more itself. Okay, so far we've looked at files, folders and libraries, and how you can find and organise your documents and your files. But now let's have a look at how you can find and organise the hard drives and external hard drives that you may have plugged into your computer. Now, we've said in the start menu already that you have quick links here to your documents, pictures and music libraries. You can also click on your username at the top of the start menu, and that'll bring up all your users folders, including your downloads folder, your internet favourites folder, contacts folder and saved games. Then there's the way to access these from the Windows Explorer icon that's by default pinned to the taskbar. But in the start menu, let's have a look at the computer link. So we'll click on that. Now, by default, this will take you to a view that will show you all of the hard drives and the external drives and removable drives you have plugged into or attached to your computer. Here we've got our main Windows disk. We know it's the main Windows disk because the Windows icon has appeared on top of the disk. Here we have our DVD drive, and here we have a USB pen drive that's plugged into the computer. If I unplug the USB pen drive, it disappears, and then if I plug it back into the computer, it will reappear again. There we go. We can double click on it and we can view the files on it, and we can create new folder in it using the new folder button on the menu bar at the top. We can burn files to a CD or DVD and more, and we can use the Breadcrumb Bar to return straight to computer. We can double click on the Windows drive, and we can have a look through the Windows drive here. and again we can use the breadcrumb bar to return to any point, or click on computer to go right back to the beginning. In the Windows Explorer left hand pane here, in the favourite links pane, you'll see next to computer there's a little arrow to show that you can expand the options that are there, and each drive will have little arrows and you can explore around the drives that are plugged into your computer this way as well. You can also collapse these by clicking on the little arrow again, and there we have it. So all of the hard drives, removable storage drives such as CDs, DVDs and Blu-ray discs, and external drives such as USB attached hard drives and USB pen drives will show up here from the computer link in the start menu. In the next segment we're going to look at how we can connect to network resources from our computer. Now that we've seen how we can find our way around the hard drives and external hard drives on our own computer, let's have a look at how we can connect to network resources. Now you can find these either in the start menu by clicking on computer, or by clicking on the Windows Explorer icon that's pinned to the Windows 7 taskbar. Now in the favourite links pane here on the left hand side you'll see a link called network. You can expand this to see other devices that are there, or you can just click on it. Here we can see that there are other devices here, so let's click and have a look. We can see that there are 4 computers connected here. We can see that there are that a couple of these computers are sharing video and audio media, and we can see some other devices connected to our network which are most likely going to be our broadband router. You can open any of these and it will display for you any files and folders that are shared by that computer. Here we can see this computer, Core i7, is sharing their documents, pictures, video and music. So we could have a look at those if we wanted to. We can open the media sharing, and we can see here Windows Media Player launches to show us the media that's being shared by that computer. So there's easy and simple ways to be able to access network shared computers and network shared files from your own computer. You also, if you're trying to connect to a computer and you can't see it and it is turned on, you have here a link on the toolbar at the top to the Network and Sharing Center. Now if we have a look at the Network and Sharing Center, which we've seen in a previous section, we can see here at the top it says this is this computer, this is the network we're connected to, and we have internet access. But there's another link here we didn't look at last time. It says see full map. Now if we click on this, Windows creates a network map of all the devices attached to our network. We can see here we've got a couple of computers, we have a couple of storage drives attached to the network, we have the router itself, and then we have our internet connection. And this can be a very useful way of seeing whether computers and devices are actually appearing on your network. In the last segment of this section we're going to look at how you can search for specific files and specific information on your computer. Okay, so we've had a look now at how we can navigate around our computer and around network resources to find files and documents. But let's see if there isn't a faster way of being able to find what we need. This is especially useful if you have an awful lot of photographs or digital music or documents and files of other types. Let's open a Windows Explorer window. And in the top right of every Explorer window you'll see a search box. If you click in it, we can search for anything we want. Let's say we want to search for Arizona. Almost immediately any file that we have relevant to Arizona will appear. Now the search box will prioritise the type of document that you're looking at for that Explorer window. Let me explain. If you're in the libraries view, as we were, it'll prioritise in the search results any files and documents in your library. If you're in your pictures view, say launching pictures from the start menu, it will prioritise pictures in the search results. If you're in the music view, it will prioritise music in the search results. In exactly the same way as if you search from the start menu, you'll see here down at the bottom left hand corner of the screen, then it will prioritise programs in the start menu. It's really very clever. But there are other ways we can search as well. Let's say we want to search for a kind of file. Now we type kind and it's giving us a long list here that we can select from. Let's say we want to select picture, and straight away the relevant pictures that we have will appear. There are other searches you can do as well. You can see here they're called search filters. Let's click on type, and this will bring up a list of the types of document that we have on our computers, from BMP, GIF and JPEG picture files to doc and docx word processing files to MP3 music files. Let's say we want to search for Adobe Acrobat PDF files, so we'll click on PDF and straight away a list of PDF files that we have on our computer will appear. Remember, here we can also click on the preview pane and we can bring up a preview of each document without actually having to open it, so we can see what the document is. If we click again in the search box, we can see that it will save recent searches that we have made. So if we decide that we want to go back and search for something again, all we have to do is click on that search and it will reappear. You'll see here some other search filters that you can use. Date modified, for instance. You could search for files that have been modified in the last couple of days, or we have options here for a long time ago or yesterday, and you can just click on these search filters and it will bring up a whole list of files, in this case files that were modified yesterday, and we can look down the list and find the files that we want. That's all for this section. In the next section we're going to look at how we manage folders and files in Windows 7.